Welcome, everybody, to the first episode of the Double Dribble Podcast. I'm Dylan. I'm here with my co-host, Devin.
What's up?
Today, we're just going to be talking about kind of like the basics of the podcast, like to start with. Pretty much, we're just talking about all things basketball. That's all it is, whether it's college, the NBA. We might talk a little bit about WNBA if something crazy happens.
Maybe.
But who knows?
Probably not.
So, you ready to get started?
Yeah, where do we start?
All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about, the Luka-Anthony Davis trade. Now, I should clip this onto my shirt now that I think about it.
Let me just say, okay, so I was laying down, because it was like, 1 in the morning when we got this notification.
Yeah, the trade happened at like 1 in the morning.
And I hear my phone go off on ESPN, which has its own notification sound, right? I'm like, oh, probably something happened in the game, because the Lakers were playing the Knicks. And something probably happened, and I was like, I'm not too worried about it. And then I hear Dylan.
I would move your mic down just a little bit.
He texts multiple times, like 3 times in a row, and I look at it. He's like, holy crap, Luka just got traded. And I'm like, what, where, when, how? Because who would trade Luka? Like, arguably one of the best players in the league.
He is definitely top 3, in my opinion. I'm looking at the the specifics of the trade right now.
I gotta pull it up.
It is. I'm pulling it up right now. Oh my lord.
The fact, don't get me wrong, Anthony Davis is a great player.
I mean, he's having a borderline MVP season right
now. I honestly, I wouldn't say that.
It's the defense, I think, that is what's carrying him this season. The offense has been pretty good, pretty solid. Okay, so the specifics of the Luka-AD trade. It was a 3-teamer. The Lakers received Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. And the Mavericks got Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers' 2029 first-round pick. And then, I'm assuming for salary cap reasons, the Jazz got Jalen Hood-Schifino, the Clippers' 2025 second, and the Mavericks' 2025 second.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back. So the Mavericks got the 2029 first-round pick, right?
No. Wait, yes. Sorry. The Mavericks got Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and then the Lakers' 2029 first-round
2029. The kid they're going to be drafting is most likely still in 8th grade.
Yeah. He's in algebra class. Bro didn't even know he got traded to the Mavericks.
So, bad trade on the Mavericks' part. You could have got way more for Luka.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a bad trade all around. Like, the Lakers, they had probably a DPOY candidate in Anthony Davis, and they traded their best defender for another ball-dominant player that needs a ball in his. Because LeBron is a ball-dominant player, whether people like to admit that or not. If the ball isn't in his hands, 9 times out of 10, the possession's not going to go anywhere. Like, if he's not the one facilitating, it doesn't usually go anywhere.
And with Luka on the team now, that's going to be way easier.
Exactly.
And, let's face it, LeBron's almost done.
He's probably at least got 3 seasons left in him, I think.
But Luka's got way more.
Exactly.
They just secured someone that could power the franchise in the future.
Exactly. And it's kind of crazy because what the Mavericks general manager, Nico Harrison, said actually applies to the Lakers in this sense. Nico Harrison, the GM for the Mavericks, said, "I believe that defense wins championships. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. Quote, we're built to win now and in the future." I don't know how the general manager thinks that a 31-year-old player trading for a 30 I don't see how trading for a 31-year-old player is built to win in the future.
And hold on. Let me just look at the standings in general.
Okay.
If it would load. So I don't even know where to start because the fact you gave away one of the best players in the league for something so little, a good player, like a great player, an all-time top 100 player.
A 25-year-old superstar for an aging, granted he is still doing good, he's out of his prime. He's in his 30s now. He turns 32 next month.
Mm-hmm.
He turns 32 in March. So trading for the older player that's already out of his prime and giving away the player you built your franchise around, like last season before the trade deadline, the Mavericks were a terrible defensive team. After the trade deadline, like they were building around Luka, they were trying to get a lot of defensive-minded players around Luka. They brought in P.J. Washington. They brought in Daniel Gafford. Klay Thompson, granted, yes, he's nowhere near as good as he used to be. He's still a solid defender at the end of the day. After the trade deadline, actually, I think they got Klay in the offseason. But post-trade deadline, the Mavericks became a top 5 defensive team in the league around Luka. So, and their whole reasoning for Nico Harrison's whole reasoning for trading Luka was because of his conditioning and the looming, like, he was up for a supermax extension in the next year or so, and they were worried about his conditioning. For Luka, conditioning doesn't even matter. Like, he could be 300 pounds and still drop a 30-point triple-double.
Exactly. But look at this now. The Mavericks have 1, 2, 3, 4 people that can play center.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Lively being the only true center.
Derek Lively is a great player.
He's a great player. But why would you pull in Anthony Davis if you already have Derek Lively, Dwight Powell, and Daniel Gafford?
P.J. Washington could even play some center. He played power forward and center in Charlotte.
Exactly.
But, like, P.J. Washington was the spark plug for them. I'm glad they were able to keep P.J. Washington, though. I do love that. That is one thing that the Mavericks did right in keeping P.J. Washington, keeping Daniel Gafford, keeping Derek Lively. And the fact that the Lakers only had to give up AD, Max Christie, the fact they only had to give up 1 first-rounder to get Luka is insane. Because DeMar DeRozan got traded for, I believe, 5 first-round picks. Donovan Mitchell got traded for, like, 4 first-round picks. And, like, not, like, trying to diss on these players, because obviously, you know, Donovan Mitchell's a great player. What was the other name I just said?
DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar DeRozan. They're both really good players. They are nowhere near the level of player that Luka is. So if we take the basis of those trades, you would at least have to give up 6, 7, 8 first-round picks to get Luka, in my opinion.
So the Mavericks don't even have a guard worthy of filling Luka Doncic's, like filling Luka's spot.
Right now, I believe their 1 and 2 is going to be Kai and Quentin Grimes.
No offense to Quentin Grimes, but that's a big step back from Luka.
Heavily a big step back. To go from let me compare Luka's stats here. You pull up Quentin Grimes' stats, I'll get Luka's stats. if my load. Mine's not loading. Okay, what is Quentin Grimes averaging right
He's averaging 10.2 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. Nowhere near a great point guard like stat line. Like, I'm sure he's a great player, but that's just not the stat line you want as your starting point guard.
now? No.
Then again, he's going to be getting considerably more minutes, but he was already averaging 22 minutes, almost 23 minutes.
Although I feel like he can thrive in that starting position because I feel like if he's like now that he's being given a chance to be put into that starting lineup, I feel like he's going to do great.
Yeah, who knows? He might come out to be one of the best we've ever seen from Dallas.
That's a stretch. That's a hot take.
Maybe.
Section we have for later, actually. That's the last thing we're going to talk about.
But he's hitting 46% of his shots.
From the field or from three?
From the field. He's hitting 39%, almost 40%
almost
from
40%
three.
From three.
Which is really good.
That is really good. And 46% from the field for a guard is insanely high. His free throw percentage.
He's getting 3 rebounds a game from a guy who is
6'2".
6'4".
Oh, 6'4".
6'4". That's average.
I still think it's crazy that he's averaging more rebounds than assists.
And he's a guard. That's like, if he's, so who do you think is going to be running the one, Kyrie or Quentin?
I think
because Kyrie is he's a true point guard. He ran the guard for the Cavs.
He was a point guard for all of his career.
The golden time of the NBA.
The only time he was a shooting guard, I think, was after... I can't remember when he started to play the 2 guard. It was either in Brooklyn. I think it was in Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn is when he started playing the 2. I think they had Harden running the 1, and then it was Kyrie, and then it was Kevin Durant.
And you see how well that worked out.
They played 17 games together in the 2 or 3 years seasons that they were together. Okay, we are getting off topic.
Okay.
Is there anything else with this Luka-AD trade that we should talk about? I don't like.
Okay,
who's gonna play center in LA? All they have is Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes is the only center on the roster. I know they're not gonna have.
Let's just
old man Braun playing center. He's too old to be playing center, especially with like Jokic. I was gonna say Embiid, but
I mean,
do we even count Embiid as like a top 10 player in the league anymore?
I don't know. That's the problem. He's
talent-wise, yes,
yes,
he's a top 10
but
player.
he's just not playing enough.
He's not playing. He's missing games. He's just.
They
have
Jackson Hayes,
Christian Coloco,
Christian Wood,
Trey Jameson,
Rui Hachimura.
Christian Wood did play center in Houston.
Yeah.
But Christian Wood is not what he used to be.
Almost 7 points a game, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. That's how many minutes is he playing? That's where you got to look at it.
That is true. Minutes do matter
compared to the actual stats. Because if he's not getting barely any minutes and he's putting up 7 points a game, that's okay for 16 minutes. That was his last game against Utah.
Yeah, we need
per game. Let me pull up his
total minutes per.
He's getting.
Oh wait, traditional splits.
Has he even played this season?
Does not say that he has. Which that doesn't make sense. That's his current stats. They don't have this season yet because it's not finished.
But I was able to pull up Quentin Grimes from this season.
I mean, it is Christian Wood. How much do people really care about Christian Wood?
No offense, Christian Wood.
No offense. Okay. That's just like I still don't understand what Nico Harrison was thinking by trading Luka.
I seen this TikTok where it showed one guy giving one person a MacBook and the other guy giving one person a pack of spaghetti noodles, and it basically said the Luka-AD trade.
Dude, I saw. You know who Flight Reacts is, right?
Yeah.
His reaction to that, he was like, Luka Doncic, like he can't pronounce his name right. He's like, Luka Doncic has just been traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers for a bag of Lay's potato chips, a half-eaten McDonald's double cheeseburger. And I'm like, I mean, basically, Anthony Davis has the durability of a bag of Lay's potato chips. His durability, he has only played 70 plus games in 3 seasons in his 14 or 15-year career.
He's ever since they won the championship in 2020, which I don't even really count that as a championship, because like,
yellow something on your lip.
Like, I don't even really. I guess you can count it as a championship, but like, it's so controversial. So, but he hasn't been anywhere near the same since that. He's still a great player.
Yeah.
He MVP contestant for when he was playing with New Orleans. Probably his peak.
Definitely. That's when he was in his prime. He got traded short, like, into the later years of his prime. All right. I think with that, we're going to move on
to the Fox and LaVine trade.
Yes.
Because that was also...
That happened the same day.
Within 24 hours.
Yes.
Which was also surprising. Another 3-team deal, actually.
Mm-hmm. It was... Okay, so in exchange for Fox, the Kings received Zach LaVine, City Sissoko, 3 first-round picks, Charlotte's in 2025, which, if it doesn't convey, it turns into 2 seconds. So realistic, it's not even it's like a fake first-rounder.
Yeah.
In a sense. So essentially, it was 2 firsts, 5 seconds, essentially. 3 first-round picks, Charlotte's in 2025, San Antonio's in 2027, and Minnesota's in 2031.
And
team.
I believe De'Aaron Fox was trying to get out of Sacramento, and Zach LaVine was trying to get out of Chicago.
No, Zach LaVine actually wanted to stay in Chicago the rest of his career.
So this kind of took him off guard, which
kind of, I mean,
like
a
punch in the gut.
Zach LaVine had been in trade talks for about 2 years.
Yeah, for the past 2 years.
Same with Miles Turner. Miles Turner is another player that's been in trade talks for the past couple of years.
So I'm gonna just say this right off the bat. I'm a big Pacers fan. We're from Indiana. I love the Pacers.
I'm a Timberwolves fan.
Getting rid of Miles Turner
would be the worst decision.
Unless you trade for another big man.
The only way I see that happening, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, is if they worked out a deal with either the Jazz or the Hornets to get either Mark Williams or Walker Kessler. That's the only way I see that work, or not really working or benefiting the Pacers. Yeah. The Bulls regained their 2025 first-round pick from San Antonio, and they got they got their own first-round pick for this year back. The Bulls also got Zach Collins and Trey Jones from the Spurs, and then Kevin Huerter from Sacramento, who is shooting 19% from 3 right now. Kevin Huerter is shooting under 20% from 3.
So, who do you think won this trade? I would say definitely the Spurs.
It's 1,000% the Spurs. The fit from Victor and Fox is insane. Because De'Aaron Fox, like, KOT4Q, Kenny, shout out Kenny, he described it perfectly. They fit together so well. Like, they've got, like, De'Aaron Fox is explosive at the rim for the size that he is. Because I believe he's 6'3", 6'4", something like that. He's a great rim. He can attack the rim. His mid-range game is good. He's got a great mid-range game. and he's a solid defender. Not the greatest, but not the worst. He's a pretty average defender. Victor Wembanyama complements De'Aaron Fox in a way that not many other all-star duos do. Wemby's perimeter shooting and De'Aaron Fox's ability to attack the rim is going to make it pretty much impossible to choose who you want to guard. Because if you guard Wemby from 3, De'Aaron Fox is getting to the rim. If you guard De'Aaron Fox from getting into the rim, Wemby's not there for 3.
Okay, hear me out. This is a really hot take. But could this be a birth of something like we've seen with Steph and Kevin Durant?
There's a chance. Granted, it is obviously a different situation. De'Aaron Fox isn't ring chasing. He just genuinely wanted to be put into a better situation with the Spurs.
Exactly, but I'm talking about Wemby, a tall, athletic threat from everywhere. And De'Aaron Fox, a great point guard.
And they still have Chris Paul coming off the bench. Or if they decide to run small ball at the 1 and 2, they'll do Chris Paul and then De'Aaron Fox at the 2.
Almost like a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and then Kevin Durant as a big.
And then Jeremy Sohan as a Draymond, I
guess. I don't know. Just a hot take. But the Spurs are 12th in the league. I believe when I just looked at it, they
have a chance to at least do something great this season.
Let's see. And they still have Stephon Castle too.
They didn't get rid of any young guys. That's what makes this trade a definite win for the Spurs.
Not Stephon Castle. De'Aaron Fox, 25 points per game, 5 rebounds a game, and 6 assists per game.
Insane.
6'3". He's 27 years old, so he's still young.
He's in his prime right
relatively.
Now. Yes.
2017 pick 5, first round pick 5, went to the Kings. There's actually this documentary on Hulu that I watched about the entire draft class of 2017.
Oh, because wasn't that Luka's draft as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
Him and Trae Young and De'Aaron Fox. Yeah.
It was DeAndre Ayton that got picked first. I believe the Hawks had the second pick. I think. I just realized. Backtrack just a little bit. Luka has technically been traded twice in his career now.
Yeah, because he was drafted by the Hawks and then traded to the Mavericks. Which, don't get me wrong, Trae Young is a great player, but trading Luka for Trae Young turned out to be a big fumble in the end. Everyone thought, because you got to think about it this way though. Luka was from, where is he from? Lithuania?
Slovenia,
right? Slovenia, and Trae Young was coming out of Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew more about Trae Young than we did Luka. So trading for Trae Young for Luka, in the draft, was a good idea from the start because we didn't know how those players were going to turn out. And then Luka just taking off like this, which Trae Young is a great player. One of the best players we've seen in a while, just the way he plays. It's so different from everyone else.
Mm.
But Trae Young is down here while Luka is up here. But
I agree with that.
But back on what we were talking about, the De'Aaron Fox trade.
Mm-hmm.
He was averaging 37 minutes a game, 25 points, shooting 46, almost 47%, 32% from 3.
Fox is definitely not known for his 3-point shooting ability. He can't really consistently hit the 3 ball.
He's averaging 2 a game. Makes. Six attempts.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 attempts, 2 makes. I mean, that's still 33% in reality.
Exactly.
It's just that. The fit for Fox and De'Aaron, I'm so smart. The fit between Fox and Wemby is crazy because the Spurs fleeced both teams in this trade. Because they didn't have to. All they gave up was they gave the Bulls their first-round pick for this year back, and then their first-round pick in 2027.
Which is what, 2 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kept Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sohan. They kept all of their young guys while bringing in an all-star point guard.
But is it too late for the Spurs to make it far enough up in the standings to get a good playoff spot?
This season, I think the best that they will be able to do, like
because they're 12th right now.
If they win like 80 to 85% of the rest of their games, I feel like they can maybe make the play. But at the most, they'll fall. They will either be just in the play-in or fall just a little bit under that play-in spot.
And Wemby right now is averaging almost 25 points a game, same as De'Aaron Fox. 24.6 to be exact. At 9 field goals per game, shooting 47%.
That's
for
crazy.
a guy his height, shooting 47%. He's hitting more 3-pointers than Fox is.
Yeah, he's
3 a
shooting
game
more consistently.
At the same percent too. He's shooting 9, making 3, as Fox was shooting 6, making 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's Wemby's just a really tall
Kevin Durant
threat from everywhere.
Wemby is kind of like, he has a Kevin Durant build, but he's going to be better. Right now, he might not be better. There is probably an argument for that now that Kevin Durant is, 35, 36.
But Wemby is going. I could see Wemby being one of the best players we've ever seen. Just the way you can't really guard him, because when he jumps, there's not even a point in trying to block him.
I don't think there's even a point in jumping.
Like,
I would just let him get the point.
Now, Ja Morant might have proved us wrong on that.
Ja Morant,
because even though it didn't count, that was probably one of the
he dunked
best.
on him another time before that too.
I didn't see that one.
But yeah, that is the details of the Fox-LaVine trade. I do remember seeing that De'Aaron Fox's agent, Rich Paul, told the Kings front office it would be in your best interest to start shopping De'Aaron around, because once his contract is up, he's going to play for the Spurs. But De'Aaron was willing to play out the rest of his contract. But the Kings thought, we might as well get some value back into it. Yeah.
No, just because we were talking about that Ja Morant dunk, I pulled it up. I don't even know, is he playing this year?
Yeah.
So he's playing this year. 20 points a game. That's not the best.
He's missed a lot.
But
he's only played 28 games so far.
I mean, that's better than last year. Only playing 9 games.
9 games. Even 9 games is better than Zion. I'm being so serious.
But he didn't get injured. It was just a stupid decision he made.
Do you think, I just looked up here on ESPN, it says that tonight at 8 p.m., that's kind of funny. The Spurs play the Grizzlies.
Oh, the Grizzlies. Oh.
Ja Morant. Do you think that De'Aaron suits up for this game?
He just got traded last night.
True. Luka also got traded.
And he's already in LA.
He's already in LA.
I'm going to say no, honestly.
And going from Dallas to LA, San Antonio, that's the same distance, essentially.
Pretty much.
I think San Antonio might actually be closer to LA, to Sacramento. I think. I don't know. But yeah, that is the basis of the De'Aaron Zach LaVine trade.
So, I mean, while we're talking about this, the games going on today, we have Washington versus Charlotte, Atlanta versus Detroit, Houston versus New York, Indiana versus Utah, go Pacers, San Antonio versus Memphis, Sacramento versus Minnesota,
go Minnesota,
and then Milwaukee versus Oklahoma City, New Orleans versus Denver, Phoenix versus Portland, Orlando versus Golden State, Boston versus Philly, and
I believe that's it, because now we're getting into repeat teams.
Yeah. Those are the games coming up, and then like tonight, tomorrow, next few days.
Actually, I can just go back on ESPN and I can see which games are actually going to be playing tonight. I remember I was on the phone with one of my friends. I was playing Minecraft, and I hear Stadium Live notification go off, and it said breaking, and I was like, oh no, what? Anthony Davis got injured again or something like that. I genuinely thought it was gonna say that Anthony Davis was out for the season.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah.
And then it hit us with a Luka trade.
I mean, it was about Anthony Davis.
So just a quick update on what's going on, like as we're filming this. New York is up 1 point, 14-13 against the Rockets. So
Bodega Cat putting in that work, maybe.
Dylan Brooks, 2 points.
Type. Dylan Brooks masterclass.
He's just the first one that popped up. They still got their starters in. Achua, 2 points. Karl Anthony Towns, 6 points. Jalen Brunson, 4 points. So personally, I want the Rockets to win, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so
how do I unsplit this? I don't know. Whatever. We'll just go back into it.
Okay, so I just like a little time filler while we're pulling this up.
Oh, I already got it.
Okay, well, never mind. Trades that could happen next.
Honestly, there's a few. I did hear a rumor that since the Lakers trading for Luka was preparing for life after LeBron, LeBron has been tied to getting traded to the Warriors.
I saw that
all season.
But
would that even
would that be
possible? Make sense?
Because the Warriors would most likely have to give up like their entire roster.
I mean, not that their roster's doing anything decent,
but their roster plus a decent amount of picks for LeBron.
I'm going to use ESPN's trade machine. LA. So LA is going to be the first team. Then we're going to add Golden State. So once it loads. Okay, so looking at the NBA trade machine, LeBron is making $48 million a year. That's not what I meant to do. We're going to add LeBron to the trade. It would most likely have to include Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, and they would probably honestly want to give up Buddy Hield in this trade too, because he hasn't been performing well, and just for roster filler, it would probably be. I don't even know, honestly.
Would they give up Bronny? Move him with his dad?
I don't know. I'm just going to try and see if this works. The Warriors are over the luxury tax threshold with this trade. Okay. Just this trade. It'll probably, instead of being Buddy Hield, what I meant to do, instead of Buddy Hield, it would probably have to be Wiggins. Wiggins is making about $26 million. And, yeah. And then I'm assuming it would have to be picks, but I don't know how to add picks on it.
Okay, so look at it from the Lakers' point of view. Would you be willing to give up LeBron even this late in his career? Because LeBron is still arguably one of the greatest of all time. No, not arguably, he is one of the greatest of all time. Like along with people like Kobe and Jordan. Just if I was the Lakers, I would not give up LeBron. Like if he wants to go somewhere in free agency, let him. But I would keep him until he retires, or try to at least. Because especially with him playing with Luka, that could be a championship team. A contender, at least. Moving LeBron to the Warriors could make the Warriors another championship contender. And that would be like a crazy turn of events considering the 2015, 16, 17, and 18 seasons. The Cavs versus Warriors, LeBron versus Curry. Moving them together. That would just be crazy. While you're doing that, let's look at the All-Stars.
So far, the only way that this trade would work, I didn't realize that I clicked Draymond instead of Wiggins, but I mean it worked. Without picks, because I can't add picks to it, the only way for this to work, it would be the Warriors giving up Draymond, Buddy Hield, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody for LeBron, Bronny James. So LeBron, Bronny, and then Armel Traore. That is the only way that it contractually makes sense, while also still keeping about 14 or 15 players on the roster. Granted, that is without picks, so picks are probably going to be,
Included in that, most likely.
Yeah. And what I think is crazy is that this trade, like the Draymond, Buddy Hield, Kuminga, Moody for LeBron, Bronny, and Traore, both teams' projected wins decrease. The Lakers' projected wins decrease by 10, and the Warriors decrease by 9.
So, like I'm saying, just keep LeBron. Don't even put him in trade talks.
I say just write it out with LeBron. I mean,
Until
there's a
end.
chance he retires at the end of his contract.
Exactly.
There's only 2 years left. Excuse me. Yeah. Another trade that could happen, Jimmy Butler actually formally requested a trade out of Miami. And he wants to go to the Suns.
That would be something crazy, because along with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and then Jimmy Butler,
I don't even know how that lineup would be. I'm assuming they would probably put Booker at the 1. They probably want Booker as their Book as their main ball handler.
And then
so it'd be Book at the 1,
Jimmy Butler at the 2.
No, Beal at the 2. It'd be Bradley Beal at
the 2. So you'd want Jimmy Butler playing small forward.
Yes.
Okay.
That is if they don't have to give up Bradley Beal in the trade for Jimmy Butler, which I'm assuming they would, considering, it is Jimmy Butler at the end of the day. If they were to not have to give up Bradley Beal, it would be Booker at the 1, Beal at the 2, Jimmy at the 3, KD at the 4, and then Nurkic at the 5. I think. But I'm assuming that the trade would probably be something like.
Would they give up someone like Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler, though?
I would, in a heartbeat. Bradley Beal is way past his prime. Granted, Jimmy Butler is a couple years older. Jimmy Butler is still incredibly good and way better than Bradley Beal is. Because Bradley Beal is nowhere near the 30-plus point per game scorer he was a couple.
Back with the Wizards.
Yeah. I feel like the trade would be something like Bradley Beal, Yusuf Nurkic, potentially Ryan Dunn, and I'm assuming at least 2 to 4 first-round picks, if they even have that many firsts, for Jimmy Butler. And if they need to make up a player, then, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pele Larson or something.
Personally, I don't see much happening this season, though.
Mm-mm.
I see any trades any big trades that we're going to see from now on happening in the offseason. Then again, I could be completely wrong, because I didn't think anything big was going to happen this season, and then we get hit with a Luka trade, and then less than 24 hours, a De'Aaron Fox trade, too.
Before that, even during the offseason, before the season even started, Cat getting traded to the Knicks.
Yeah.
I still hate the Timberwolves front office for that bullcrap.
But
because I have Karl-Anthony Towns. I have Towns and 32 on the back of my jersey or hoodie.
I don't know. Dallas literally said, "Hold my beer," to New York and Minnesota. They're like, "Yeah, we're gonna have the craziest trade of the season."
Hold my beer.
Exactly.
All right, so I think those are really the only trades that could happen next, other than potentially either Miles Turner or Nikola Vucevic going to the Lakers.
And then anything in the offseason.
Who knows what happens in the offseason?
Exactly. That's a whole different monster in itself.
All right, so the next topic, which is something that Devin actually just told me before he came over to record. Dwayne Wade was just recently diagnosed with cancer.
And it sucks. Like,
I love Dwayne Wade.
Growing up as like a little kid, playing all the 2K games, like from 2014 on, Dwayne Wade was always like someone who I thought was like really cool. Like just like the way he played with like the swagger he had when he played.
Seeing one of your childhood goats have to battle something like this. Like it was the same thing when Randy Moss had cancer for a week, which is crazy to think that he got diagnosed with cancer a week later he was cancer free. Randy Moss is a dog. Random NFL side thing.
Yeah. So this happened January 30th. So what, 3-4 days ago?
That's when he was diagnosed with cancer. But Dwayne Wade actually said in his podcast, The Way with Wade, that he actually had surgery in 2023 to remove a cancerous tumor. And he said that they only removed 40% of it.
I mean, there's not really much to talk about till we learn more about it.
Yeah. Oh, he had kidney cancer.
Yeah.
Sorry, he 40% of his kidney was removed. Yeah.
And we just found out on the 30th about his health.
He actually said that he was diagnosed with it 41. Like at 41. He's 43 now.
Yeah. So I mean, we're gonna keep you updated as this goes on, obviously, because this is such a big thing that it could go anywhere. It's a scary thing too.
Yeah.
And I mean, prayers for the Wade family having to deal with this. It's just something that sucks, like to see one of your childhood heroes have to go through.
All right, so next order of business, finals predictions.
Let me just pull up the app, because after what just happened, I exited out of it and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wizards in 4. No, I'm kidding.
Yes. So the Cavs. Hold on, I was actually. Okay. So the Cavs, as good as they're doing this year, I don't see them making it that far. They have a bad habit of being in the playoffs and just not making it far. Now,
because I think they got bounced in the second round.
First or second round last year, yeah.
Yeah.
But personally, I see Boston and New York in the conference finals, and whoever wins that is going to the finals. Now, in the West, hot take, but the Lakers.
Honestly, I see either OKC, Houston, or LA.
Could we see a team like a young team like Houston? Could we see them making it to the finals? So that's the question. Because
I don't think that the Rockets are gonna make it to the finals. I think the absolute farthest they're gonna make it is the Western Conference Finals, and I feel like it's going to be, depending on how the seeding works, I think it's either going to be the Rockets going against either the Thunder or the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and that team will be going to the finals.
I don't see it. So Memphis is at 2 at 33-16 on the season. Personally, I don't see them making it far in the playoffs unless Ja goes crazy.
Yeah, if Ja starts averaging 30, then
we'll talk about it. Yeah, then we'll talk about it. So who do you see from the East though?
Oh, bro, there's a scab in my nose. From the East, honestly, yeah, I gotta agree with you. It's between Boston and New York. It's got to be between Boston and New York.
Yeah.
So what are we predicting the finals is? Are we? I say it's going to be a Lakers-Knicks finals, where the Lakers win in 7.
Yeah. So you said Lakers and Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Let me actually.
If the Thunder do make it, I see them winning in 5.
So if we have a Lakers and Knicks finals, last night was a Lakers and Knicks game.
Yes, Bron did drop a triple-double in the Garden.
And they beat them by over 20 points. Or 10 points. My bad.
They beat him by 16.
Yeah. So, almost 20 points in the Garden. That's not even including in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So, could we see them winning in 5, maybe 6, even 4 games? Just a full sweep of the Knicks.
I think that the Knicks are too deep for the Lakers to win. I can see them potentially winning in 6, but I don't see them winning in 4 or 5. The Knicks are too good to not take at least 2 games from them.
You also got to look out what happened last year with the Knicks, though.
That is true. They did get injured in the playoffs. I guess really like it all ends up how like injuries work out in the postseason. But if we're not talking injuries, I see it being a Lakers-Knicks finals where the Lakers win in 7. And I'm not just saying that because I like the Lakers or anything. I'm a Timberwolves fan. But like
LeBron and Luka,
the defense might not be all there. They might not have the best defense anymore. That offense is going to be so heavily centered on Luka and LeBron. Like, that pick and roll is going to be crazy. Luka taking the ball down the court, Bron setting a screen. Bron can either trail back, like even if it's Luka setting a screen. I could see Luka setting screens for LeBron and then stepping back out to the 3 for a catch and shoot. But like that pick and roll is just going to be crazy in my opinion. So I feel like the offense, the super heavy offense outweighs the lack of defense for the Lakers. Whereas the Knicks are a deeper, more well-rounded team because, you know, they have players like Josh Hart who can get rebounds, who can play defense. They have OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges who are both elite perimeter defenders. And they have someone like Cat who's been playing pretty good defense inside the paint. So I mean, like they've got defense, they've got playmaking with Jalen Brunson, they've got offense obviously with Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson, and Cat. That's why I don't really see, but I just feel like that Luka LeBron combo mixed with Austin Reeves at the 2 if they, which I think that's what they're going to start Austin Reeves at the 2. So that scoring between their 4 best players, between Luka, LeBron, Austin Reeves, and Dalton Connect coming off the bench, or they might decide to start him at the 3. But like that, I just feel like though the Lakers' offense is going to outweigh, the well-roundedness of the Knicks. That's why I feel like it's going to be a Lakers win in 7 in the finals.
Yeah.
So where do you think that the Pacers are going to end up finishing the season? They're 4th in the East right now.
27-20. We're winning barely over 50% of our games.
They are on a 3-game win streak though, so that's pretty good. It's tied with Boston. Boston is on a 3-game win streak as well.
And we're currently playing game right now. We are currently playing the Jazz, who we will most likely win as the Jazz being one of the worst.
The Jazz, I believe, are the 12th or 13th seed
in the league right now. So
I think they're the 13th, right?
Oh
no, they're 15th. Okay.
Yeah, the worst team in the league, pretty much, except for Washington. But
yeah.
But Indiana last season was dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrese Halliburton was crazy, but he's just not that this year. As much as I hate to say it, as much as I love Tyrese Halliburton, he's just not having as good of a season as he did last year.
Mm-mm.
Pascal Siakam, on the other hand, is an all-star this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going crazy. But it all just depends on...
I definitely don't see Indiana cracking that top 3 in the East.
No, I feel like we're going to be 4 or 5.
4 or 5.
Let me look at our schedule, actually, and see how tough our schedule is.
I got to see where the Timberwolves are right now. So the Timberwolves are 7th in the West right now. We're only a game behind the Clippers, and we're only 2 behind the Lakers. I see the Timberwolves either finishing within that 6, 7, 8 range. As much as I hate to say that about my Timberwolves, I feel like they're going to end up between 6, 7, and 8.
But that's a big difference between the playoffs and the play-in.
That is true. I think that their highest is going to be 6. There is a chance that LA could drop to 6 and Minnesota could go up to 5. There's a possibility of that, but after getting Luka, I don't see them going anywhere but up. I don't see the Lakers going anywhere but up. I don't think the Rockets are going to go anywhere but up. Or I mean, they could go up. They're only half a game behind Memphis right now. So there is a world where the Rockets are the 2 seed in the Western Conference.
I mean, if Memphis loses tonight and the Rockets win against the Knicks, which are only
it's a close game right now.
It's 74-73. The Knicks are winning against the Rockets as we speak.
Mm-hmm. Which is the 3 seed in the West. Oh, both 3 seeds right now are going against each other. Knicks are the 3 seed.
Your Timberwolves are actually losing.
Oh my gosh!
Against the Kings right now.
We're losing to the De'Aaron-less Kings. We should have traded Rudy Gobert. We should have traded Rudy Gobert.
We didn't. That sucks. All right.
Yeah, I feel like the Timberwolves, it's going to be between 6, 7, 8, and potentially 5 if the Lakers drop. Like if the Timberwolves overtake the Lakers. But that's the only way I see them getting 5. Because I don't see Denver dropping below 6. I feel like the lowest Denver's going to go is 6. And I don't think... I mean, Memphis could go to 4. I feel like at the end of the season, there is a chance it'll be OKC 1, Houston 2, LA 3, Denver 4, Timberwolves 5, and then maybe Clippers 6 or Suns 6. Or no, I see the Denver Nuggets dropping to 6. Lakers go up to 4. Sorry, I just backtracked. OKC 1, Houston 2, LA 3, Denver stays 4. Timberwolves go 5, Grizzlies go 6. So there is a world where they could be the 5 seed if that ends up being the final, standings in the West. But as of right now, it's between 6, 7, and 8 where I see my Timberwolves landing. All right, so as the season's coming to an end,
unfortunately, this has been a really good season.
It's been so crazy. Who do you think the MVP trophy is going to?
You want me to be honest?
Yes.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm so glad you said Shai. Don't get me wrong, Jokic is having an incredible season.
And Giannis.
Giannis is having a good season, but they also have to take into account team success with the MVP award.
And OKC is number 1 right now in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Shai is averaging 32 points a game.
He's averaging 32.
52%, 52 field goal percent. 2 3-pointers a game, 5 attempted. It's 34%.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't realize this. 2 days ago against the Kings, and Aaron Wiggins scored 41 points and had 14 rebounds.
Dang.
Crazy. Let me look at their stats.
So who do you think's going to win MVP? Like, who do you think, like, the top runner right now is?
I mean, right now, like, Shea is averaging 32 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. If we go over to the Nuggets, where Nikola Jokic resides,
he's averaging. I
think he's averaging at least a double-double. He could be
29. 29 points, almost 30.
Mm-hmm. Depending on what the point number is.
12.8 rebounds and 10.3 assists. That's a triple-double.
He's averaging a triple-double. As much as I love Shea, it's gonna be a close battle between Jokic and Shea.
But you're taking Jokic.
I mean, if Russell Westbrook gets the MVP while averaging a double-double, I don't see why Jokic couldn't win it a fourth time at this point. I believe he has 3 MVPs because I think he won 2 back-to-back 2 years ago. He won 2 back-to-back, and then it was Joel Embiid, and then it was Jokic again. Right now, he's let me look. He's shooting 46% from 3. He's averaging the 3rd most amount of points, the 3rd most amount of rebounds, and the 2nd most amount of assists. I'm assuming he's only behind Luka in the assists category. Is there a chance that Luka could win it? His stats could potentially go down now that he's playing with LeBron.
That's something I want to talk about during our hot take segment because I have a whole thing on that.
Okay. I say it's a close battle, but since they take into account I would be fine with either of those players winning it. But I'm gonna say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander takes it just because of team success. And you also say Shai, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now it is time for our hot takes section of this episode.
Okay, I'll go first. Hear me out, because this is a big stretch.
Sally from Cars. No, I'm kidding.
How?
I can't say that on the internet. I can't say that on the internet.
Okay, but seriously, hear me out. The Lakers actually being worse because of one thing and one thing only: the power struggle between LeBron and Luka. Who's gonna run the team? Who's gonna take over the court? Because when LeBron's wanting to score a triple-double, Luka's a walking triple-double. It's just not going to add up unless they're scoring 150, 200 points a game. And if they both drop a 40, 50-point game, then who else is going to be scoring? No one else is going to be happy on the Lakers because they're not going to be doing anything.
That's okay. That is a hot take, but that's actually valid reasoning for that hot take. I can't even. Oh, that's a great hot take. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here's my hot take. Okay. I was going to say one thing, but I feel like that's just going to sound like a biased Timberwolves fan. I was going to say...
Go ahead.
Okay. What I originally thought of, I'm going to come up with a different one because this one's just kind of me being a biased Timberwolves fan and angry at the New York Knicks. I was going to say that the Knicks do better this season if they didn't trade for Cat. They end up being the 2 seed if they didn't trade for Karl-Anthony Towns. But that's just bias.
I don't see that, though.
I know, it's just bias. My hot take... I'm trying to think of something that would be considered a hot take.
Wizards to the finals.
No. Hear me out.
Okay.
I think that the Golden State Warriors need to hit the full reset button.
Get rid of Curry?
I think they should trade Steph Curry and get a crap ton of draft capital.
No, you're out of your mind.
No, it's okay. Just hear me out.
That's not.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Steph Curry. Okay, so Steph, KD, and Bron were all on an episode of a podcast together, right?
Yes.
But all three of them said that their careers are starting to come to an end. Curry is already thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
So, if I know it's like Steph Curry has been a Warrior his whole career, but
does he pull a Jordan?
What I think, that's a different thing. I feel like it would be dumb of the Warriors front office to just have him retire as a Warrior and not try and get any young pieces or draft picks out of Steph Curry.
I feel like they should do it out of respect, though. Instead of using him like a pawn, do it out of respect for the player, what he's done for the franchise, all the championships.
That is true. That is true. That's why this is the hot take section.
Yeah. Okay.
As much as I don't want to see Steph Curry in another jersey, just like I didn't want to see Luka specifically in a Lakers jersey, I would have taken him being traded anywhere except the Lakers.
Pacers.
That's a hot take. As much as I don't want to see Steph Curry wear another team's jersey, I feel like the Warriors are going to be bad just as long as they were good if they don't get anything out of Steph. Because you're talking about a top 10 player in the league right now, despite the team struggling heavily. You're talking about a top 10 player all time, the number one
best shooter in
the best shooter in the NBA, like
the game has ever seen
in the history of the NBA. There's no way you don't trade him to a team. Like, I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying they should, but like, take for example, like OKC. They have a crap ton of picks. I don't see how you wouldn't get at least 4 to 6 first-round picks, plus a couple young players for Steph Curry. And if anything, I feel like you could package Steph and Draymond and get, like okay. If Luka is, who was seen as untouchable, is getting traded, Trae Young, who has not been deemed untouchable yet, I feel like you could make a trade with the Hawks. Like, you could trade Steph, Draymond, and like a pick or something like that.
So what you're saying, since Luka got traded, nobody's untouchable.
Exactly. If the player that is considered the most untouchable player in the league can get traded just like that with no warning, then nobody in the league is safe. Not even Jokic. Like, I'm not saying they're going to trade Jokic. I'm just saying.
Oh, that's a hot take.
I'm not saying they're trading
on a different team.
No, I'm not saying they're going to trade Jokic. I feel like the Golden State Warriors would be dumb if they didn't try and get something out of Steph Curry instead of letting him retire, because if they just let him retire and not get anything out of him, like I said earlier, for the many years that they were good, that's like the same amount of time of them being bad. So I feel like trading Steph kind of sets them up for the future. So if anything, what they could do is, like, if anything, in his, like the season before he retired, like if he announces, hey, this is my last season, what I would do is in the off season before his final season, trade him and get young pieces.
Okay.
Again, hot takes. That's the whole section. Hot takes. I don't want to see Steph in another jersey, but I feel like the Warriors would be dumb if they didn't at least shop Curry around to see what see the kind of offers they get.
Yeah. I mean,
I feel like there's good reasoning on both sides of our hot takes.
There is. It's just like, I feel like if I was the Warriors general manager, if I was like the
Yeah.
Warriors front office. I wouldn't do that out of respect for Curry and everything
That is
he's
true.
done. Then again, I'm a big Curry fan. I grew up Curry thinking the best of all time. I don't know. I'm just a big Curry fan, and I really don't want to see him anywhere else. Like
Yeah.
you said, no one does.
No, I mean, no one wanted to see Luka anywhere else. No one wants to see Giannis anywhere else. No one
After
wants to see Jokic.
taking him to the finals last year too.
And they even built a top 5 defense around him, like we were talking about at the beginning of this podcast, at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah.
All right. There's our hot takes.
I think that's actually all we have.
I feel like we're gonna post my Curry hot take, it's gonna go viral. I feel like it has to, because I'm saying they'd be stupid if they didn't try and trade Curry. I mean, like, there's some logic to my reasoning. I'm not just crazy.
Yes, he is.
All right. That'll do it for the first episode of the Double Dribble Podcast. I'm Dylan.
It was fun.
It was fun.
It was really fun.
It was fun. I'm Dylan.
I'm Devin.
Thank you for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next episode. Go. Let's go crazy.